Welcome to newspaper analysis session. So many important things to discuss for today. So we will be seeing things that has broader implications as well as some of the important things from the article. So I will be telling you how those important things that you are going to use in the answers. So on one side, till now I was teaching you so far what is a big picture. For understanding the current affairs, for understanding what are the major events that are happening in the newspaper, you should always get the big picture. You need to get the broad perspective, what is happening broadly. But there are certain topics where you can pick up certain lines from the editorials. And those lines has to be used in the answers. So even this thing we will build as a skill so that you get extra edge from your competitors. This is very important. So how you are using some key phrases that are appearing in the editorials or in various speeches and how you are bringing these things in your answers. These also play very crucial role. Okay, but the fundamental aspect is always having a big picture, that is important. And if you can do this big picture discussion along with this ideas which I am giving you in today's class, definitely it will be a very good value addition in your answer writing process. So we'll start. So today what are we going to discuss? So India and Australia relationships and initiatives. So here also we are trying to understand a very big picture. What is happening? Why are we developing the relationships with the Australia? And then of course the main event that you have seen today is the same thing about the census and the stampede that has happened post victory of your RCB. Okay, so unfortunate situation. So you will see so many such stampede related things keep on happening even in the like recently Pushpa release, during the Pushpa movie release also stampede has happened, and even in the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, okay, there also stampede has occurred. So even in the Kumbh Mela you have seen that thing during the Kumbh Mela event. So very high chances this year you are going to get question from the stampede. That's for sure you are going to get. Okay, so you need to be very well prepared. So whatever the content that I have covered in the stampede, there is nothing else is left. If you prepare this thing well, so that is that you will be able to answer everything related to the stampede. GS3 disaster management. Okay, this will come in the GS3 disaster management. Or they may ask you, if not there, in the ethics. As a case study, they will ask you. So you are the one who is event manager, or you are the law enforcement agency, and how do you handle such a mass gathering of the crowd? Okay, so they may ask you in the case study. If not this year, some year definitely they will ask, but whoever is writing mains this year, so you need to be having that clarity. How do you manage the stampede related things? Okay, it is very important. So that we will see today. Census in India, government has announced by 2027 will complete the census process. So what are the key things that are there in the census that is relevant for your exam point of view? We will see some of the key points later on. Once the census is conducted, once the data is out, then we will do the detailed analysis later on. Okay, for now this thing we'll do. And then some of the articles that I have picked up, okay, biohappiness article, since today is the environment day. So various articles have come up related to the environment. So from there, I have picked up various keywords that have come into the news. Okay, you will get the another PDF. So somehow the PDF did not get updated. So I will show you from the editorial itself. So what are the keywords that are there and what you have to do. Later on, you will get the updated PDF in your notes. Let's start our discussion. India and the Australia relationships. See here, previously, USA was considered as a kind of security provider to the countries like Australia, New Zealand, South Korea, Japan, and all these countries. USA was considered as a kind of net security provider in the Pacific. But after Trump is saying, why should we provide you security? So we are the one who is spending largest defense contribution. Okay, so we are spending a lot of money on the defense for you. For your security purpose, why do we have to spend? We are not going to do that. If you want us to provide you security, pay us money. So for the Trump, everything is from the finances. Give us money, do something. Okay, we'll do something. So with this thing, what has happened is the trust is breaking down. So these countries, Australia, Japan, South Korea, they are looking for the better alternatives, reliable alternatives, where the convergence of the interest happens. So in the same time period, in the Pacific area, the China is strengthening its influence. They are claiming more and more islands and the geographical territory where it is coming in dispute with the various Southeast Asian countries and also the Australia kind of countries. So they are finding a good alternative supporting power. So with now India is also having issues with the China, and China, unlike China, India do not try to influence the countries and do not try to take over their territories and all. So basically India wants to have the rules based order. That's the key word, rules based order. We want to follow rules. So that's why based on this thing, there is a convergence of interest between the India and Australia in order to provide the stability in the Pacific, in order to counter the China, in order to come out of the umbrella of the USA. I have mentioned 3 points. So in the recent context, India and Australia or the new relationships are coming up for one, to come out of the umbrella of the USA, next to balance the China, to provide the security in the Indo-Pacific region. And remaining points you can also share, okay, for the defense cooperation, technological sharing, market, economic benefits and all. So all these things to strengthen the supply chain bottlenecks. So these are the some general points which you can generally add. But this is the prime point. The prime point is balancing China, provision of the security in the Pacific area, and the main point is USA is not providing that kind of umbrella of security. Okay, so are we clear? So this is the main factor. So they have signed various things. So 2+2 ministerial dialogue. There is first in India in 2020 we have established the strategic coordination or strategic partnership with the comprehensive strategic partnership with the Australia. Okay, when we sign this thing, comprehensive strategic partnership, that means, okay, so we have strengthened our relationships with that particular country. So we are going to share some key technologies. We are going to share defense equipments and all. Okay, in the same way, we have also signed logistics agreement, mutual logistic agreement. So what does this mean? Okay, so when like say whatever we are doing some kind of defense exercise, and if there is need for any kind of logistics, like say in terms of the fueling and all, so Australia will support us. In the same way, India will also support us. Like this, various agreements or deals has been done between the India and the Australia. Now these are the factual information. So they will ask what are the initiatives, then you will mention these things. But they will ask you why this thing is happening. What is the need for strengthening the purpose for the strengthening of the relationships between the India and the Australia. So here you need to understand India and Australia has signed comprehensive strategic partnership, and there is a 2+2 dialogue talks. So when we say 2+2 dialogue talks, that means, okay, so at the higher level, say Ministry of Defense and External Affairs, they are India's one, they are collaborating with the counterpart of the Australia. Okay, so we have this kind of 2+2 talks with the other countries as well. So this indicates there is a very strong ties with that particular country. So we have established this thing, 2+2 talks. Okay, and also see here, there are military exercises, means our army, navy, they exchange the best practices. Okay, so they will interact and they will exchange whatever the best practices are there. Now these are the factual things. Air-to-air refueling, for suppose Australia wants to bomb Pakistan. Okay, so they do not have the fuel, so they landed in the Andaman and Nicobar. Okay, now we are helping them to fuel it. Or for suppose India want to bomb any Chinese presence in the Southeast Asia. Okay, then Australia in between is providing us the fuels. Your aircrafts cannot travel so long because you do not carry that much of fuel, right? So this will carry so much of weight. So basically you need to have space for the bombs, huge bombs. So just hypothetical. This is how we have made agreements. Okay, so air-to-air refueling arrangement. Now can you connect this thing here? Joint manufacturing, MRO. Where did we discuss MRO? We have discussed regarding MRO, maintenance, repair and overhaul. If you don't revise, that's it. Civil aviation, so civil aircrafts, maintenance, repair and the overhaul. So I have told you during that meeting, okay, our Modi government, our Prime Minister has said, we are going to strengthen our MRO facilities. You see here, so this way we are trying to develop that thing. We are trying to get the critical technologies from different countries, and we are trying to build the infrastructure. Always domestic manufacturing and the MRO will be prime component of many things. Okay? So this is the point. Regarding, then also we also want to promote the MSME. So why is Australia is building strong ties with the India? These kind of questions they will ask. How it is a mutual beneficial relationship if they ask. in the mains, how the relationship with Australia is mutual beneficial. Then you will mention the introduction will be a current affair context. Recently, we have seen India and Australia are sharing various agreements. Okay, now how Australia is important for India and why India is important for the Australia. Like this, you will write 3-4 points here and 3-4 points that way. Okay, see here strategic geography. I have told you yesterday about the Malacca Strait. I asked you to go through the map. Now this Malacca Strait, okay, this is also one of the strategic location where India and Australia can collaborate. So this is a kind of narrow passage. When I say strait, what do you mean? What do you understand when I say strait? You didn't open notes. Narrow passage that is connecting the two major water bodies. Okay, so this Strait of the Malacca is also basically a kind of narrow passage connecting the huge water bodies, Indian Ocean and the Pacific. What is this thing? What happened? Okay. So basically strait means, okay, so here you have the water body and here you have some kind of land mass, here you have some land mass. For suppose here you have Atlantic and here you have the Pacific, okay, ocean. Okay, so this is the strait. So you have the Malacca Strait where from the Indian Ocean to the Pacific Ocean they can enter. Okay, there's a narrow passage. If that part is blocked by any country, okay, so it is a significant concern for the, not for the India, because for us also it is important. For the China it is a main significant concern, because for the China majority of the things come into that area. So we can collaborate on the multiple fronts in the Indo-Pacific, in the like say in the Southeast Asia. So geographically it is very important, strategically very important. So basically you need to use these keywords. Geostrategic reasons. Okay, basically that means geographic only. Okay, so we will use the word geostrategic. Okay, like so this will make our answer look more professional, more authentic. That's it. The keywords are always very important when you write certain answers. Shared concerns, complementary roles. The content under that is nothing much different when you read, but you need to use this vocabulary. Every answer, every kind of GS answer, be it a GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4, it has its own vocabulary. If you don't use this vocabulary, you will not get the good marks. So for suppose if the person is using the vocabulary and writing the content, he may get the 5.5 marks, you may get only 4 marks. So bringing that vocabulary is very important. So capture that thing, not just content. You also need to capture the right keywords. These are the keywords that are also being used in the articles. So same keywords you will use that thing. Okay, that will make your answer more authentic. That will look a person who is a learned person writing the answers, writing the content. So what is the benefits for the India and the others? So same thing, economic opportunities we have also discussed. Australia also has the uranium. Okay, Australia also has a good amount of the iron, good amount of the coal. So we can also get rare earth elements also. Australia is also having those things. So we can also get the good amount of minerals from the Australia. We can also get good amount of key technologies for our MRO. Okay, and also for our defense technologies. So Australia is technologically evolved. So in that way, you can also talk about those things. So there are some two groupings, AUKUS and the Quad. In the Quad, India is also member. Can you see here? So India, Australia, Japan and the United States. Basically, the countries which I have mentioned now. Okay, so those countries, South Korea is not there. India, Australia, Japan and the United States. This is a kind of Quad grouping. Okay, but India does not want to project this as a kind of security related grouping. Okay, just like in NATO. Okay, the USA wants to develop this Quad grouping in this way, but India has considered this thing as a kind of general meeting discussion for the general support and the sharing. Because India, if say there is a kind of military alliance, if the India joins that thing, now this can be seen by the China as a kind of threat and the provocative thing, or it will be seen that India is taking side of the USA. So basically, if you have seen, India will never try to take side of any one country. There was a very old policy, non-alignment. So currently the non-alignment policy that is not being spoken about, but still India and its principle, it will follow the same thing. Okay, it will not take any sides. During a Cold War also, we have not taken any side. Leave us alone. Okay, we don't want to take one side or the other side. We are not the one who are participating in the war. Why should we take the side? Don't interfere in our affairs. Okay, so we will not interfere in your affairs. So let us grow. Allow us for the growing. Okay, so we will not take any side that can harm the interest of the others. If you are harming us, then we may do. Okay, that is a different thing. So India does not see that Quad as a kind of security arrangement. Okay, basically currently Quad is a kind of grouping between the India, Australia, Japan and the USA. Currently it is seen by the India as a kind of technology, knowledge and the resource sharing group. In the same way, you also have the AUKUS. In this, Australia, USA and the UK. As per this AUKUS, UK is currently providing the submarine facilities, nuclear submarine facilities to the Australia. Okay, so these things were happened some last year. So I've just given you base because definitely you will see one day again things coming up on in the news regarding the AUKUS and the Quad. So that day I will again ask you. So you need to have some base, some clarity. There are certain groupings that are going on. Shift in the US security commitments, changing dynamics. So that's whatever I have discussed, I have given you. Clear? Okay, now stampedes. So recent incidents, Mahakumbh Mela. Whenever these kind of things happens, okay, so or these kind of questions comes in the news. So I'll start the questions with the context. Recently, the stampede has happened at particular events and it has led to the loss of life. So I'll start with the current affair. Okay, even the Pushma 2 and stampede after the RCB victory. So what is the stampede? An impulsive mass movement of the crowd resulting in the injuries and death. Generally, it happens primarily because of the lack of oxygen, because there was so much crowd. So whenever, say, if I now here you are having the breathing facility. Okay, if I say in the same room, if I put 1,000 members, you will and there is no proper space and ventilation. So you will feel shortage of the oxygen. So few people might go. Okay. So this is what happened in the black hole tragedy also the back then. Okay. So Sirajuddaula, okay, he cooked a few people in some smart area. Okay, that's how they lost their lives. Okay. So whenever huge crowd gathering is happening, so the event managers should properly handle. Okay, now realizing that this area cannot handle this many people. So if I am the event manager, so I need to make sure. So I have the proper infrastructure. I should make sure that I'm not allowing huge crowd to enter into this area. So I will make proper barricades. Through using proper barricades, you might have seen whenever you visit religious places, you will see barricades. Why are they keeping that? So that not huge mass of crowd is entering there. So only one by one after other, they are coming. So that to accommodate the people as per the space that is available. So this will not damage the infrastructure. But generally what happens in India, okay, a crowd is always having anxiety. Okay, you might have seen, okay, even when there is a red light, people will be honking from behind. Okay, so lack of common sense and all. Okay, so I'll see back and look at what. Okay, then again he'll do okay. So this is what happens. They'll keep pushing you. Okay, so even when the crowd also happens, the human behavior, the man's psyche, okay, lack of civic sense that comes into play, that animalistic tendencies and all, okay, that comes into the play and they'll start pushing one another. So this is man related, human related. Second thing, from the administration related, they know, okay, so this much of the crowd is coming, but they have not properly set up or established the infrastructure. For suppose they were expecting some 30,000, they thought in the RCB event, but crowd was more than 1 lakh. They should limit it, or they should have planned it. They should have involved all the participants who are, like, say, all the stakeholders, like, say, administration, local police, okay, or like in order to handle the event, and they must have developed the proper infrastructure before making such kind of events. But from the administrative point of view also, they are not doing that thing. So they need to check what is the event. For suppose if it is a kind of religious gathering, Baba is coming, some all different type of the people might come. Okay, so vulnerability is different here. For suppose it is a kind of religious festival and all, okay, so different group of people might come, even though old people, children might come. If it is some kind of cricket or movie, and most primarily youth will come. Okay, so based on the gathering, you can understand who are the sections of the people that are coming. Accordingly, you can manage the things. But all these things are missing. Unfortunately, NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority, has given the proper guidelines how to handle these stampedes in 2014 itself. But they are not implementing this thing. So that is a major problem. Okay. So globally and nationally, many deaths keeps on happening. So we need to be very careful. So generally, if you believe that in these kind of crowdy places and all, so you avoid. So generally, I don't visit any kind of places where there is a lot of crowd. Yeah, because I know what kind of challenges the administrations will face. I will not definitely take little children there, because realizing something might go wrong. Okay, so we need to be also very careful from our front. Okay, so those things. So causes of the death: traumatic asphyxia, whatever that is, lack of that breathe oxygen. Okay, then heart attacks when someone is stepping on you. Okay, whenever someone is you got crushed between the population, or something is falling on you, and also your organs might fail. Okay, so head injuries, all these things that can happen. Factors causing, like I've told you, human psychology, the craze phenomena. Okay, lack of civic sense. So those points you have to talk about. Now, whenever we are writing the points, we will not write points like that randomly. I have to look the thing better. I have to present it in a right manner. For suppose, now all of you guys are writing the content and submitting to me. Now, I will evaluate with your answer in assume that 2 minutes. This is what happens generally. Okay, I'm evaluating. Now, you all guys have the same content. But first, who may have the possibility of getting little bit more marks if they present it properly. If person is dumping all the content, you segregate human factors, institutional factors and all. But some person is giving me proper data. Some person is making it look presentable, easy, making my job easier. Definitely, I might get little bias towards this person. I might reward the person with half mark at least. If the person is doing same thing for every question, definitely half mark per each and question, 10 marks per paper, for totally 40 marks for general studies, and optional 20, 60 them. Okay, the person will be in the list. Okay. So structural issues: poor lighting, designing, blocked or insufficient exists. So this is the planning that they need to do. Okay, see here. Now I'll take this diagram to the exam hall. Okay, so what kind of circumstances force information space time? See here: overcrowding, evacuation or crowding, panic and excitement, structural failures. So from this thing, you own the diagram. Now this is a broad diagram. Now you have to use this framework. You have to simplify it in your own terms, and you have to take it to the exam hall while writing the answer. So what are the various causes? What are the various reasons why there is a failure of total thing that is leading to the stampede? Okay, so I'll use these diagrams to bring that thing. High crowd density, overcrowding leads to the panic, inadequate space to the safe movement. So these points that you have to utilize in the answer. Now see here, human stampede risk reduction frameworks for the mass gathering. So there should be, now if you can see here, first decision to hold event. So now I am checking what is the event: religious, entertainment, political. So what should be the event duration, capacity, expected crowd size. So you need to do this thing: event approval, risk assessment. So at least this broad headings I'll remember. How before the anything, if you are given a case study, what will you do? Okay, if something, first I will prepare this thing. First I'll do the integrated planning. So I'll check whatever the available resources, their estimation, crowd density monitoring, surge of the people management, competition control, bottlenecks release, emergency services. This is the planning. And then risk reduction measures. So I will be using CCTV cameras, proper lighting facilities, okay, medical care team if anything happens. Okay, so these things. So I'll use these headings. You don't have to by heart all these things. So check generally. So risk assessment, I'm checking what kind of age group will come. Okay, so what kind of hazardous things that are nearby. So for suppose if there is any kind of you have not properly managed the electrical thing, okay, short circuit can happen. Okay, if there are any kind of weak bridges and many people are climbing over those bridges, so that bridge can collapse in that image. So you need to check all those things. Even the barricades, if they are not strong, the people might get crushed if you are not managing the crowd properly. So I need to do the risk assessment of everything. What kind of scenario in the previous accidents. Okay, so then event approval. So then we have to visit the site, safety measures, and then should I give the license or not? So you will do complete analysis. So what is the event? Should I even be given approval or not? What are the resources I have? What are the previous scenarios and what needs to be done? In this way, I'll use this framework. So that is a human stampede risk reduction framework for mass gathering outcomes. Okay, then if you can see here, NDMA has given guidelines. So a comprehensive guidelines, if you can see here, let me show you. Okay, See here. Okay, I'll take this thing. So type of the event, religious or youth festival, sports event, political or any kind of product promotion. What kind of crowd is expected? Age, region, gender, their economic scenario, crowd motives. So are you coming for some kind of social thing, entertainment thing, religious thing, economic thing, and then crowd management. First, risk assessment, the previous thing which you have seen, risk assessment, then preparedness, incident response, capacity building, and capacity planning. So properly, you check the venue and check if these things are there in this or not. Then you will also discuss with the other stakeholders and you will collaborate with them. Okay. So these are the frameworks that are given by the NDMA. So once this framework is given, this diagram you have to use. Whoever is writing the mains, use this diagram. This is a diagram given by the NDMA. So now under this thing, NDMA has also given various points. Can you see here? So it has also given various things that has to be handled. So crowd handle, effective crowd handling strategies include traffic regulation. So proper route maps should be there, barricades should be there, snake line approach. So instead of straight line, snake line. This will reduce that kind of increasing the density in that particular area. VIP plans, and then understanding the venue, visitors, stakeholders, which we have seen, and how you will handle the crowds, and then safety and security. Check the electrical and fire safety, check the surveillance, check the communication if this is not there or not, and then check you have how do you include the civil society in this and police forces in this, and how do you bring the media in this. Accordingly, you also include the people and also provide them proper training, make the drills. So these are the set of guidelines and the practices that are provided by the NDMA. But lack of incorporation of this thing is causing the problem, right? So definitely question will come. What are the questions? How the question can be asked? So if anything, so what have we seen here? So we have seen stampede. In the stampede, we have seen, see any topic if you are preparing. So I will prepare this thing. So what is the current affair? Okay. Then I will see first what is that? What is stampede? What is it? Then I will see causes of it. Then I will see impacts. And impacts I will see in the disaster management. Then I will see NDMA guidelines. NDMA guidelines. Then I will see challenges. Okay, if there are any suggestions that can be incorporated. So all these things are covered in the material that is being provided. See here, many topics that are already relevant for your disaster management already that are covered. So we have seen floods, urban floods we have seen. Then we have seen landslides we have seen yesterday. Then now stampedes, another topic we have seen. Oil spills. Oil spills. Okay. Someday we will also see tropical cyclones because things are happening. Okay. Cyclones, they are like friends. They keep on visiting. Okay. So in the subsequent lectures, definitely we'll cover tropical cyclones as well. Earthquakes. Someday something definitely again it will happen because it is a natural phenomenon. Okay. So we will finish off the earthquakes also. So they will come and we will finish. One day I will also provide you the Sendai framework. Where is the Sendai? Someone tell me. Sendai is in the Japan. Okay, Japan, they are known for handling the disaster management very well. Okay, so we use this Sendai framework. This is a kind of global framework. Okay, they are providing us a proper framework to handle this disasters properly. Disaster management. Okay, how disaster management means how you are understanding the disasters, how you are making sure that disasters are not causing any kind of loss to life and the property, and how you are handling it, how you are preventing the hazard from turning into the disaster. If disaster occurred, how you are helping the people, rescuing the people, and later on if the disaster, after the disaster, how you are rehabilitating the people. Okay, so it is a comprehensive thing before the disaster, during the disaster, and after the disaster. So we have this Sendai framework, we will see Monday. So we have covered these things. So we have covered all these topics in a very comprehensive manner. So this thing is taking care of your prelims as well as the mains. See here, suggestions. Okay, so proper use of CCTV cameras. No, from the same things, we'll just give the suggestions. Now census Why is this in the news? Government has mentioned that by 2027 we will finish off the census. Now here are some important points. So generally census is governed by which framework? So they will ask you, is there any kind of legal backing? So for every 10 years we conduct the census. Is this given in the constitution? No, it is not given in the constitution. It is governed by the Census Act 1948. But there is no rule such census should be covered for every 10 years. First it was started in the 1872 and later on it has from the 1881 for every 10 years it was conducted. Only now recently in the 2011, which after the 2011 it was supposed to be conducted in the 2021. Okay, but it did not happen because it was COVID era. So government said we are using the resources at some other place, so we could not conduct. Okay, now they are going to start the process and they will finish the process by 2027. What is thing that happens in the census? So in the census they will come to you, they will ask your age, they will ask your gender, they will ask okay, how long you are staying here. Okay, just basic demographic information. Okay, so this is the census related data. This is the important thing. It is conducted by the Office of Registrar General and the Census Commissioner under the Ministry of the Home Affairs. It comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Very important exercise. So that's why it comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs. They will ask these kind of simple prelims questions. Your prelims will be compromised only when you do not answer some fundamental easy questions, not because of making mistakes in very difficult questions. Okay. So I have written 6 mains. Okay. So for me, like I always used to focus like on the areas which are easy, which are like not challenging. Like say for me, polity, economy, some current affairs that are frequently coming. These used to be my strong areas. Rest of the areas, for me, I don't need to top in the prelims. Okay, so I'll be aware. So, but these areas, the static areas, the areas that are coming from the frequently in the news, that was sufficient for me to easily sail through the prelims. Okay, so you need to be preparing in that manner. So if you focus on these things, many things will be covered and many things are getting repeated. Okay, so see here there is no constitutional requirement that census has to be conducted for every 10 years, which I have mentioned. Because these things, why these things I am saying these are the most important? Because these are the things that are appearing in the newspapers. So why the UPSC want to do the research in the census? We will be doing the analysis of those things that are coming in the newspaper, that are relevant to you. They are coming in the newspaper, they are coming in the something in the news, something. That means that is the aspect that is expected you to know. Only those aspects that we will cover. So that's how I'll be able to predict this is important for the exam, this is relevant for the exam, this is not relevant for the exam. So there is a census act, those things. Now recently 2027, what is the new features? You already know. Caste census will be included. We have done the topic already. Why the caste census is important? Data driven policy. Okay, so we have told you, okay, social justice can be done. Now by doing the caste census, they will be able to identify whether all the people who are getting benefits in the caste are the worthy people. Are they really they are the one who should be meant to be targeted? In the OBC reservation, there is a creamy layer concept, but there is no such a creamy layer concept for the SC and the ST reservation. Now government might do the more analysis. Within the ST also there are many groups who may not be getting the desired benefits of the reservations. So after looking at the various data, government will be able to make better policies. They might see, okay, these communities got benefited very well. Now let's make sure, okay, let's introduce a creamy layer. Okay, let's make sure that these communities benefit, something they might do. Okay, so that's why, okay, when we have the more data, more beneficial policies can be done. Policies and funding can also be tuned accordingly. So if I know, if I'm aware, okay, so in particular region there are this kind of caste people and they are not getting any kind of benefits. Okay, so I will target the community as a whole. Okay, so if I are making one particular caste, one particular religion kind of policies, that is different. Here we are focusing on the development, inclusive development. Okay, focusing entire community. Okay, so such kind of policies can be made. Which article talks about the reservation? Article 15 and the Article 16. Okay, so if you read the provisions of the Article 15 and Article 16, okay, so they mention that special provisions should be made for different categories. So in the 15.3, they will talk about the women, any socially and educationally backward communities. They will mention in the 15.4, 15.5, 16. In the same way 16.3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so these are the provisions that give you to make affirmative actions. What is affirmative action? Affirmative action means extra effort that you are taking to provide the welfare. It is a kind of positive discrimination. You are not discriminating negatively. Okay, you are discriminating for, suppose women are being provided the reservation. This is a affirmative action. That is a positive discrimination. Extra effort taken to provide vulnerable sections some kind of support. So Now this is the not definition I have by hearted and I'm pouring it here. I'm just putting it in my own words. That's how you have to develop. So if I ask you any concept in 1 or 2 lines, you should bring things with the clarity. So these will be very helpful for your UPSC prelims and the mains. With this clarity, you will be able to do so many things. So always for every topic, first think what is it? The core point, the core essence. Then things will be clear. Okay. So even while preparing the articles, when preparing things for you, so I'll think first what is the major essence of the article? What is the article that is trying to communicate to the people? Okay, that thing I'll do. So in the 2 phases it will be done. So here everything will be digital. Okay, so these things. That's it. Now these things that have come in the news. Okay, so the biohappiness. So these things may not be asked directly in the question, but I will use as a kind of case study. I will use as a kind of keywords in my conclusions. I will use these words in my suggestions. Biohappiness. So basically, it's a kind of sustainable development only put in the different words. So you will be more happy when you are practicing environment-friendly things. This is the concept given by the MS Swaminathan. Okay, biohappiness as envisioned by the Professor MS Swaminathan refers to the idea of leveraging biodiversity to enhance the human well-being, ecological balance and the sustainability. So I will remember these 3 words. So you are using the biodiversity for your own well-being, for your ecological balance and the sustainability. Okay. So simply this concept emphasizes the sustainable use of the natural resources to improve your health and nutrition and the economic prosperity. For suppose everywhere they are talking about the millets. Now you are using the biodiversity. Currently I told you because of the faulty policy of the MSP. Everyone are going for the rice because MSP is implemented. We have discussed already MSP. There is a minimum support price. Recall. Minimum support price, minimum guarantee is given to the farmers if you sow them. It was basically announced for how many crops? 23 plus 2. Okay, 25 crops. Some facts you should never forget. Okay, so 25 crops. Okay, but primarily it is implemented only for the rice and wheat. Now, because of this thing, people are going only for the rice and rice, but they are not going for these millets. Millets are highly nutritious. And if you can eat them, this will also, we have also discussed the anemia, problem of anemia. Okay, the anemia can be resolved, nutritional security can be addressed, and these are the environment friendly. They do not need a lot of water. India is a semi-arid country. More than 60% of the India is receiving rainfall less than 75 centimeters, rain-fed area, and we do not also have the proper irrigation. This way, it will also not only restore the soil health, but will also provide you nutritional support. Okay, so this is a major essence. So you are using biodiversity to enhance your health, to further your own well-being and also for the sustainable development. That's it done. Okay, so later on I don't have to read entire thing about this thing. I can actually frame my answer accordingly. So here the diversity of the greens, millets, legumes and wild fruits demonstrate the rich agro biodiversity. Now this is what given in the article. Now can you see here another thing, Nishi and Apatani tribes, they are developing this kind of valuable things. So generally, why do you always say local culture, local biodiversity has to be protected? So they will always have some kind of local information that has to be always protected. They might be knowing something additional information regarding the nutritional benefits, medicinal benefits. Okay, that has to be properly documented and has to be properly protected. Okay, so that is what they are talking about. So MS Swaminathan has given this thing. MS Swaminathan has also given evergreen revolution. Again, same thing, sustainable. So you once in your GS paper 3, you have revolutions, different types of the revolutions. It is given in your GS 3 syllabus. That means milk revolution, white revolution, okay, blue revolution. These things keep on coming in the news. Okay, so evergreen revolution means more sustainable, more balanced kind of revolution without damaging your environment. Because we have green revolution, everyone knows green revolution. Just a basic point, green revolution means in one line, like I mentioned, spectacular rise in the food grain production. If it is milk revolution, I'll say spectacular rise in the milk production. If it is any other revolution, yellow revolution, spectacular rise in the oil seeds production. So always use this thing. So green revolution is a spectacular rise in the food grain production. Previously, we used to produce some 30 million tons or something. Now currently we produce 350 plus million tons, 370 million tons. But this has created some environmental damage. So now we are talking about not just green revolution, we are talking about evergreen revolution. That means creating minimal to minimal damage on the environment, focusing on the sustainability. Now the same thing is being explained in the different ways. Okay, but you have to remember at least the key word. Okay, so I will use this word. So when there is a concept of environment and the development, conflict between the environment and development, so I will use like MS Swaminathan said. Okay, so government should focus on the bio-happiness, where well-being of the humankind can be increased, enhanced by utilizing of the biodiversity in the sustainable manner. That's it. Clear? So this is how you will utilize these kind of things. Now in the same way, this thing also have picked up because I found it very good. Okay, so exposomics. Now you see, because of the environment, different people are getting affected in a different manner. Okay, so the same pollution or the same thing, every person will get affected in a unique manner. Okay, when you are getting exposed, this also depends upon your age. This also depends upon your fitness. This also depends upon your genetic structure and everything. So exposomics is a kind of study where we are checking everything, what kind of impacts the environment has on this particular person, considering all his genetic history, biological history, everything. So this is what exposomics is. So now if a question comes on the environment and its impact on the human being, so in the suggestions I use these things, exposomics. Okay, so there should be this kind of comprehensive study, how the environment is going to impact the human being, and then accordingly we can make the changes. So it's an emerging field of research that focus on studying the exposome, which encompasses the totality of the environment exposure a person experience throughout their life. This includes physical, chemical, biological and psychological influence that can impact his health and the disease. Okay, so now in India primarily see climate change is happening. So everyone health is getting affected. Here they have also used one word called DALI. Okay, I think I forgot mentioning it. In the article they have mentioned. Okay, so DALI means see now for suppose if I'm healthy and fit, I am supposed to live for 100, let's assume. But I started to visit in a highly polluted areas. Then I get exposed to the air pollution and all. So instead of 100, I have kicked out for just 50 years. Now my life expectancy from 100 has been reduced to the 50. So what is the life expectancy that has been lost? That is called the DALI. Okay, maybe 1 year, 2 year, whatever your well-being that is being lost. DALY, DALI. Okay, you can just later on go and study about it. Okay, so these keywords again I'll use it in the answers. Okay, so there is a kind of loss that is happening to your well-being because of the environment, because we are not focusing on the environment. We are going for the triple problems. Okay, one thing, pollution, destroying of the biodiversity, and then the climate change. Okay, these things are happening. So that is the point. That's why I have picked up this thing. That's it. No, nothing major thing from this. That is how you have to utilize this thing. Now here see, they have mentioned about the textile industry. By mistake, this paragraph has come on the top. Okay, so textile industry is one of the largest employment generation industry. So textile industry is very important for us, but we are not able to grow to that level because primarily these industries are based on the fashion. See, every day, okay, today Pawan Kalyan might wear a different shirt or Mahesh Babu might wear a different shirt. Okay, by the time it manufactured and implemented, okay, later on Vijay Devarkonda will come with a new t-shirt and new shirts. So fashion is continuously changing, and these industries should properly adapt to that thing and also need to do marketing and all. So our industries are struggling there. They are not able to adapt to the fashion. Continuous change is not happening, and the environment, they are also utilizing a lot of water. And the industries that are involved in this textile industries are very small industries like MSME industries. They are, like we have already discussed, the same thing, the problems related to MSME, they do not have the credit, they do not have the market, they do not have the skill. So same problems also apply to this textile industry. You have in the geography GS1 factors of localization of the industries. So key natural resources. Under this, they may ask very high chances. Okay, in India's textile industry and the challenges. We are not able to compete with the global fashion industries. So see, you are mostly you will import various or you purchase branded items, mostly primarily those textile items from not from the India. Okay, from the European brands, US brands, okay, US Polo and all. Okay, so Italy brands. This is manufactured in India, 100%, 100% cotton and all. Okay, so that's why. Okay, those synthetic cloths and all, we are not able to compete with them. So we have to develop that kind of competency to compete with the global brands. They are able to provide that kind of thing. Now here in this article, they are also making it how we should make it environment friendly. So they are talking about the regenerative farming. Now I have picked up this thing because these things, if I use in my answers, I'm expecting a textile industry question for this year mains. So if I use this in the answer, definitely my answer will be unique, because everyone will write those problems, those challenges, schemes related to MSME. If I use this thing, the textile industry should also be utilizing the regenerative farming, traceability, and also circularity. Okay, so I'll use this thing in the conclusion: traceability, regenerative farming, and the circularity. So what is this regenerative farming? It is an agriculture practice focused on same thing again: restoring soil health, improving biodiversity, and enhancing the ecosystem resilience. In the context of the textile industry, regenerative farming is relevant because it addresses concerns about the raw material sourcing, climate change, degradation. It is happening. So everywhere, every agriculture commodity is facing this problem because of the climate change. Their soil is getting degraded. So you focus, make sure that the soil is not getting degraded, biodiversity is not getting damaged. Okay, so you are making sure that your product is not causing threat to the environment. So same things, they are using different concepts. Okay, evergreen revolution, regenerative farming, or that biohappiness that we have discussed. So use these words, different areas. You can use these words even in the GS4, in the environmental ethics. There is a concept of environmental ethics in your GS4. So they are talking about various environmental principles, environmental ethics. There I will mention this is environmental ethics. So you will say generally in sustainability, you are not going to get marks. That's why this, when you only use the current affairs properly in a right manner, you are going to get the edge for sure. You will get the definitely good rank. This is what. But problem is, people will find it hard to do this exercise, and they find it hard to take it to the exam hall. Only very few people will be able to do that thing. If you can do this thing, definitely you are going to get the edge. Circularity means, so for suppose if you are using the mobile phone, so within the mobile phone, you may once it is expired, you may throw it later on. Okay, so but generally that also have some battery, some useful components. So you are using whatever the things that are relevant from there, gain for the usability. So that is called the circular economy. This year also UPSC prelims, they have asked the circular economy concept. So you have to use this thing. Traceability, if I am saying this is a kalamkari or whatever it is, okay, so now you are tracing its origin. Is this really that product? Is it really that good? Okay, so you are able to show the traceability of that particular origin. So whatever the goods that you are mentioning, so that's will enhance the brand. Okay, brand value again. This is a very important thing, BESS project. Okay, so I'll give you what is this BESS project. See, we are developing a kind of battery system. Okay, so what is this battery system? So we are focusing on the renewable energy. If you see, government has, India aims to we have a target of developing 500 gigawatts of installed power capacity from the non-conventional energy sources. This is our target, 500 gigawatts. Currently, what is our power generation? Again, important fact. Few facts that you have to remember from that. What is our power generation capacity? You can remember it is somewhere around 450, 475 gigawatts. This is through general, everything, including entire power. Okay. But later on, by 2030, we want to develop only from the renewable energy this much. Okay. 500 gigawatts of the power capacity from the non-renewable thing, like say solar, small hydro, okay, your wind energy. But these things, if the say sunlight is not properly coming, the power fluctuations will be there. So what we can do is, whenever there is a sunlight, whenever there you have the proper scenario, you generate the electricity, store it in the batteries. Now, how does your inverters works? These are the battery systems. They are providing you electricity when there is no power. In the same way, you develop a large battery houses. You can use this electricity that is generated store it in the battery. Now, these battery systems will provide you the electricity. So, government has target to develop 47 gigawatts of BESS by 2032. Why is this in the news? In the Delhi, they have commissioned recently one plant, okay, which is around 1 gigawatts. Okay, between with fund 20 crores, it's joint venture between the Reliance Group and the Delhi government. So that is the factual information. Once you can go through, rest of the information you can go through. Okay, rest of the things that is not important. And why this thing is very important? Because now you are able to utilize the renewable energy. Okay, you are able to connect the renewable energy to the regular sources with the help of the battery systems. It's very important thing. BESS. Okay. So World Environment Day, so they are focusing on the plastic elimination, because we have already discussed this is plastic is going to choke your drainage systems. They are going to cause floods, huge toxicity. Okay, like say when this is degraded, okay, they'll result in the formation of the microplastics. I have discussed this thing. Microplastics can enter in your bloodstreams also. Okay, you have this small very micro beads. They can enter into your blood and cause cancer. We have discussed bioaccumulation and biomagnification as well. Okay, so government is well focused on eliminating this plastic, and our World Environment Day's theme is also plastic elimination. Okay, so this is the theme that we have. So are we clear? Another one last thing that is left, EV policy. Okay, any other thing is left? So, okay. So new EV policy. So basically, last year this policy was announced. Scheme to promote the manufacturing electric passenger cars. So as per this policy, we said we will reduce the import duty if you start production in the India. So that is a major thing that we are talking about this thing. So for suppose if Tesla company enters India, we are asking them to do or invest in India nearly 5,000 crores. You need to invest in India's plants, 5,000 crores. You set up the plant here or do the investing. You enhance the domestic value addition every year. See here, domestic value addition 25% in the next 3 years, 50% in the next 5 years. If you meet this criteria, so what is the thing? Any global company, first they have to invest in India up to 5,000 crores every year. In 3 years they have been given target, in the 5 years they have been given target that they should also bring the value addition from Indians as well. So this will, what will it do? One thing is we want always investments. So investment is increasing. It is also enhancing the domestic capabilities. So Make in India is empowered, right? If you are able to do this thing, then we will reduce taxes on your vehicles up to some limit has been given. So directly you import those vehicles and sell it in India. So we are giving them incentive. So they may ask, why should we invest in your India? Why should we encourage the production here? So these many units you can come and you can sell it in India. You can make a profit. We will not tax them. Okay, so we have reduced we will reduce the import duty from 110% to 15%. So whatever loss we may occur there, we may get there. So we are balancing it with the enhancing, strengthening our local manufacturing capacity. So it is very important. So these kind of initiatives I really love, which promote the manufacturing. But there was an article which was saying that we are not focusing on the technology transfer. So they may say, okay, so we will start the production, but they may not transfer the technology. Technology they are not divulging, they are not giving it to the Indians. So the article says, one of the articles that came in the Hindu, they say we should also focus on the technology aspect. We should make joint ventures. They say China has used the same thing. They have used the technology transfer related initiative, and that's why now the China is a giant in the e-vehicles. Okay, India also should do that thing. So clear. So this scheme can be asked in the prelims. You have to mention this, we have discussed already so many things related to the e-vehicles. Many things were we were discussed about the tires and the pollution. Okay, then we have discussed something about the recently also there was some article on the e-vehicles which we have discussed. I'm not able to recall those things. Now this is another thing. So one more scheme that has we are talking about. So like this, there are various things related to e-vehicles that keeps on coming, and we have to keep on updating our content. Now this was a Crimean Peninsula. Okay, so if you can hear the south of the Ukraine. Okay, so you see here Ukraine here. Okay, it is a Crimea. Previously, I have told you there was a bigger regime USSR. Okay, but that got disintegrated, and East European countries, including the Ukraine, got the independence from the USSR. Now you have the Russia. Okay, you do not have the USSR. Previously, under the USSR, everything were part of this thing. So still, Russia feels it is its backyard. Okay. So, but currently Russia has seen Ukraine is slowly moving towards the USA, Western Europe countries, or towards the NATO. So that's why Russia wants to influence the Ukraine region. So they have in the 2014 they have occupied the Crimea. So what was happened? Then one kind of referendum was conducted in the Crimea. The ethnic population were primarily Russians in that area. So they have voted in the favor of the Russia that we want to be part of the Russia, and then using that thing, Russia has occupied the Crimea. Because for the Russia it is very important, because this Crimea is connecting to the Black Sea. Can you see here Sevastopol? I will again ask you. Okay, Sevastopol is a very important port for the Russia. Through this thing, it will enter into the Mediterranean Sea. So it is giving the critical maritime access to the Russia. And here, can you see here Yalta? Later on, you will see in your world history Yalta conference. Okay, so I'm saying this thing because Sardinia they have asked. Okay, so that was also coming in your world history. So just remember this Yalta. Now, why is this thing in the news? Can you see here there is a Kerch Strait? Okay, and if this is a strait, like I have told you again, strait is a narrow water body that is connecting two bigger areas. When you see here Black Sea and the Sea of Azov, you need to remember in the prelims they will ask you this thing. Kerch Strait separates Sea of Azov and the Black Sea. Okay, through this the Russia has developed a bridge. Through using this bridge, Russia used to transfer important military equipments. But Crimea has used underwater drones and they have destroyed the bridges. Now Russia is like, we will teach lesson. Okay, we do not know. Russia has very great defense power. Okay, so I'm seeing, okay, I'm waiting what will happen, what kind of scenarios might open up. Okay, so they have caused damage to this bridge. And we are yet to see the Russian response. So that's it. So there are many important things that are relevant for your prelims, which have been covered. Okay, so we have covered a lot of things, lot of important aspects. Only thing that is expected from you is revision. Okay, whoever is watching live or whatever, watching the current affairs on the YouTube, please stick to the content, revise the content again and again. Only then it will be beneficial. You have to watch the lectures with very seriousness. Only then things will work. Okay. Thank you. That's all for today.